It is a beautiful Saturday morning right here on Adwa TV. And yours truly, Naa Oforiwaa Pels. I'm in my queenship. Yes, and I'm sitting on my throne. Make a date with me this and every Saturday. So what are you waiting for? Call a friend, to tell a friend, to tell another friend that Noko Bold, Noko Black Beauty, Noko Dark and Lovely is seated on her queenship throne. The program is Family Live right here on Adwa TV, and we are streaming live on Facebook, Adwa TV GH, and on YouTube, Adwa TV GH. I'll go for a quick breather. When I come back, I'll introduce my guest and that of my topic. Please stay tuned.
Announcements on Adwa TV. Contact Adwa TV for your general announcements, proclamations and publications, job vacancies, etc. at a very affordable rate. Call 05092577754, 02094949258, or visit our marketing desk at Stepwork premises. Adwa TV, bringing good things to life.
Babies are the joy of every home. We cherish them because they are a blessing, yet fragile. From the womb, where there are many mysteries, to the delivery room, where we'll help welcome your baby to the cradle. My Baby on Adwa TV is here to help you know the early signs and symptoms your baby gives when it comes to their health. I will be talking to midwives, pediatricians, child psychologists, speech therapists, and teachers to help you know the signs your baby gives to you. My Babyness, your baby's health, my concern. My name is Naa Oforiwaa Pels.
Penifo kasa bi se atiye ohoi emmo refre wo bia bratete ne mo rema hwene ba enne wo boni beye so fo bia kwaji ndura hye sori bia se ama enne asori ba ne na ebro edwedifo esu enyumayefo esu so man no akodi baby na wo so hu ne sai obia yare da yare sabia enfie bebre ni wonya yare hwe wanyina na mama bisa wo se wasetena mu etese wasitine mu to say aye dwumadi etina se edwada ene efiada anopa no do ene fam kopim du baako ene fam dwumadi eso ne etina se ene asofo di nkomo mo mutu yefo dwumadi ya ye ne akandifo so tina se mo mutu ya brabo mo afutuo ye ne ankrankre emo mo be koma wra ho sem mo gina so enya so emwa ene utisha no so na hia me adwa broni kaisa won so emre bebem ama won so wafrem wo de wadwe nkire nyina abedom ye wasitine mu to say dwumadi enwumaku a aso asene eye Medimafo Herbal Clinic thanks to you Computer Clinic and Amina Vocational Institute kame ho yentina se yendi abrabo mu nkomo.
Everything you know, talk about the world, talk about the globe, talk about the things and everything.
Announcements on Adwa TV. Contact Adwa TV for your general announcements, proclamations and publications, job vacancies, etc. at a very affordable rate. Call 05092 57754 020 258 or visit our marketing desk at Stepwork premises. Adwa TV, bringing good things to life.
Welcome back, and the program is Family Life right here on Adwa TV. My name is Naa Oforiwaa Pels. Noko bold, Noko beautiful, Noko dark and lovely. I hope you've made that call I asked you to do, to call a friend, to tell a friend that it is time for yours truly to sit on her queenship's throne. This program, apart from it entertaining you, it educates and informs you. We do the research and then we give you the feedback of what we've learned, okay? Then you can also learn from it, and then you try to take a step alongside in life with it. We also like to acknowledge our sponsors, the Men Fellowship of the Anglican Church. If you want your son to be a good husband, a good father, or if you yourself want to be a good husband and a father to your future children, what are you waiting for? Go there, register and be part of them, and then they will teach you how to be a good Christian husband and a father. My dress is by Noppa Vibes. My fabric is by Trending Fashions and Fabrics, right there at Kaneshie, the same building with Kaneshie Guest House, just after the overhead, and then opposite the Takrade station. My name is Naa Oforiwaa Pels, yours truly, and the topic of discussion for today is spirituality and marriage. Spirituality and marriage. And when we talk about spirituality and marriage, what comes in mind? Are you scared, or you just enthused to know? Because many of you want to be also for mommy and stuff. But have you also thought you can be a one chenga? You see, a wife of a fetish priest. It's all the same thing. And without much ado, I have Mr. Hansen Bedro. Sorry? Bedero. Hey, this is huge. He is the founder and the CEO of HBH Success Consult. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Nice having you.
Good to be here.
Okay. And I also have Reverend Michael Kwekudako, my regular client. My regular guest. Yeah. Nice having you, Papa.
Thank you.
Hey, you look handsome this morning, though.
God bless you.
Hey, this blessed, I tap it. Okay, so I hope the family and church is okay.
Everything is okay.
And then, Mr. Hansen, how is HBH doing?
HBH is good. We are making progress.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll be your next client.
Sure.
Yes.
You're welcome.
I hope you wouldn't charge me much.
No, not much. Nothing you can. I mean, you're a big lady.
Don't let my size deceive you.
You should be able to afford.
Oh, don't mind the body.
The body is.
The body is
the
very
account
deceiving.
is correlating.
I tap into that. And please, our topic for today is spirituality and marriage. Is there a difference between spirituality, or is there spirituality backing marriage? Any of them goes, or you want me to say it again? Is there a spirit backing up marriage, or when it comes to marriage, should we go into the spirituality side of it first?
All right. Thank you once again. Life is spiritual. Everything about life is spiritual.
Okay.
You can't effectively live life ignoring the spirituality of life. In fact, the spirituality of life is the reality of life. It is the essence of life. It is where things happen.
Okay.
The physical material world is the manifestations of the reality of the spirituality or the things that happen spiritually.
Okay.
So what actually happened that we see with our physical eye in this material world is just about alignment for the flow of that which happens spiritually. So having said that, it means that everything about life, all the circumstances of life are spiritually orchestrated. And then also, the one who first instituted marriage is a spirit being. So God is spirit, and he instituted marriage. He created all human beings and put a man and put a woman in the concept of marriage. Therefore, we cannot effectively be married and live a married life without being spiritual. Two, the people in marriage have spiritual elements. A human being is spirit, soul, and body. So you can't live life successfully by ignoring a major element of you. In fact, it is scientifically proven that your body repairs itself within a certain period of time, say about 7 to 10 years. The entire cells of your body regenerate. So it means that physically you sort of become, or your body, your housing repairs, but the essence, the real you, the essential you remains the same. So what happens? It means that you are spiritual. So just to answer your question directly, we cannot effectively be married, live life, and enjoy marriage without being spiritual. If you live like that, you're just going to be a victim of life.
No, okay. Papa, do you have any submission to what Brother Hanson has said?
Yeah, I 100% support you.
Okay.
You know, God created man, and God is a spirit. So for you to enter into the marriage, you must first understand what is marriage. Who created marriage? That is God. God created marriage. And in the Garden of Eden, Bible said, in the middle of the cool of the day, God visited Adam and Eve. They were married, and God visited them to do what? To teach them, to talk to them, to let them know what to do, what he wants from them. So as we decided to enter into the marriage journey, we must first seek the direction of God. Where am I going? What will be the end result? In fact, before you get married as a believer, so let me speak as a Christian, you must know the end from the beginning.
How?
Yeah. By seeking the face of God.
Okay.
Marriage is a journey, and it's not everyone that embark a journey completed. So you need to seek the face of God. Lord, this is the journey I'm embarking. This is a marriage. I want to know the end results. And as you are seeking the face of God, he will let you know the end of that marriage. Even the person you are going to embark that journey with, called marriage, you must know who the person is spiritually. You have to seek the face of God. You must know what God is saying. You know, many are mistaken when it comes to marriage. And then what we are going through now in the world, you know, mostly the trials is based upon marriage. I was telling somebody other day that we now have many street children, and there can never be a street child where there's no street father. Yes, it's the street father
This is deep.
that produce the street children. If your father is a street father, you are going to become a street child. Yeah. But when your mom and your dad, they are properly arranged their life in marriage, you know, there will be a direction, there will be instruction, there will be a way. As Proverbs 22:6 says, train up the child the way he should go. It's the duty of the married couples that train their children. So if you want to do that, you need to seek the face of God to know what to do, to know the way to go.
Okay. What role does religion play when it comes to our daily lives as married couples? Does religion has a role to play when it comes to marriage life?
It does, except that for me, I am excited about spirituality in its pure sense.
Okay.
So one of the things religion does is that religion has a way of watering down the true essence of the thing and just following the rituals.
Okay.
So there are people who have been in church for 30 years. They can't even track their spiritual development. They can't track their spiritual awareness. Like Reverend was saying, you need to seek the face of God. Someone doesn't even know what it is. I pray when there is a problem. I pray when I need something. How do I expand my spiritual scope? How do I understand the dealings of life? You know, I mentioned the spirituality of life is the reality of life. That is where things happen. In the book of Job, in God asking Job questions, he asked him, "Hast thou known the ordinances of heaven, and can thou bring its manifestation on the earth?" Those are spiritual people. If you take a witch is a spiritual person. He knows when you want to kill somebody, they know what to do. When they want to put a sickness on someone, they know what to do. And so when you go through that sort of activity that are laid down by any kind of religion, it should have an essential component. That is the true essence of the thing. But unfortunately, of course, religion has become, a lot of activities, just, do this, follow this set of rules. You don't understand why you're following them. You don't know why you're following them. Sometimes you don't even agree to follow them.
But you just have to say yes.
But of course, if you don't, they will see you in a certain light. They will think that you are this kind of person, and so yes. But if we look at it in terms of spirituality and religion as one in terms of essence, like someone who is a Christian, who understands his spiritual essence as a Christian, who has a strong connection and relationship with his God, it plays critical role because that entire session helps in the development of the person. You see, your spirit is, if you are able to understand from the perspective of the stature of your spirit. The Bible says that we are blessed with all spiritual blessings in heavenly places. But you look at yourself and you're like, where is the blessing? It is real, but you must have a certain understanding and alignment for the free flow of the resources of the spirit into your natural life. So to grow in that sense, to become in that sense, then religion plays a very critical role. Because if you're a Christian, you subscribe to the teachings of the Bible in growth to become the Christ. Your journey of a Christian is that you're growing to become the Christ in the way he responds in his maturity, in the way he responds to the issues of life, in the way he handles life, in the capacity he possesses. So in that sense, we say it plays a critical role. The other dimension I'd want to add is with regard to people who are of different religions. You see, it gets very difficult and dicey because one of the things that one of the conflicts in marriages had to do with core belief, what the person truly believes. And look, when life happens, we all run to what we truly believe. Because the essence of the spirituality, like I say, man is spirit. So when man hits a roadblock, he calls for a higher power. And so if you go and marry a person from a different religion, who have different core belief, different spiritual understanding, how then are you going to raise your kids? Okay. What is going to be the spiritual goal that the family would be aspiring to? And what are going to be the set of practices that you are going to be performing in that marriage that will necessitate the growth? So then it's going to be very difficult. If from the beginning, usually there is attraction, there is, romance, there is excitement. But when all of those things settle down, then
reality sets in.
You begin to see the issues. So in that sense, it's the Bible asks us not to be unequally yoked. So you need to choose wisely with regard to that, so that you and your partner have a certain spiritual goal and vision that you are aspiring, to become. So in that sense, religion plays a very important role, and I would prefer to say spirituality in a very important role in the success of the marriage.
Okay, so if I understand you well, we shouldn't just jump into marriage because of the pleasure we have in the relationship, but rather we should seek the face of God. So in terms, you want us to fast, be isolated, and then delve deeper into the word of God than just listening to what our pastors tells us in the church. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, I'm saying that you need to grow spiritually. When you grow spiritually, everything about your life properly aligns. Like I said, the back end of life, which we don't see, is actually where the things happen. In fact, the things we see are actually the shadow. The substance of life is the spirit. So it is not, like I said, when it has to do with religion. You mentioned fasting, which is good. You mentioned solitude, isolation, to do meditation, which is good. But you need to have a very deliberate and intentional attempt in doing these things.
Okay.
So you know what you're doing. You are tracking your growth. Because someone will say, look, I've prayed, I've not heard anything. I've fasted, I've not heard anything. So do you know, for instance, how to hear from God? When God speaks to you, can you hear?
Okay.
Do you understand what he is saying? So that you know in making that decision. I make mention of someone who is, say, a witch, for instance. He is going and he meets someone, say a man of God, and he knows in his spirit right there and then, this is not a go, and this is a no-go area, because this person, just by tracking the person spiritually, he or she can tell that no, you don't touch this one. It's the same thing if you grow spiritually. If you are meeting someone, you will know. You may not necessarily need to take a lot of time trying to fast and all of those things to understand whether or not, even though it is important. But if it is your regular life, if it is your regular approach, you are fasting intermittently, you are praying, you're reading the word, you are growing spiritually, your understanding of life is deep. When you meet someone, I call it the tech eye, you will be able to know. It's like when a set of doctors meet, they will know. If you are among them, they will know you are not a medical doctor, because their language you can't speak. Their approach, the way they look at life. So when you grow like that, you will be able to know just by, before I got married, I talked to certain people. You're a young lady, we are talking. I know that this is no. Okay. So if you're growing spiritually, just by connecting with the person, your spirit pick the signal and say that this is a no. This person doesn't connect. There was a time I was here, I mentioned that not every good person is good for you.
Not every white teeth that smiles with you means love.
So the person can be a good woman, but will not be a good wife for you. Maybe a good wife for someone, but not you.
Not you.
So it's important that you grow spiritually. And, Pastor mentioned seeking the face of God and also mentioned growing spiritually. What that also does for you is that God knows the end from the beginning. He knows us. In fact, there are stages of life and circumstances of life that can happen to us that will cause us to shake in a certain direction. He knows. Today you may be cool, you may be nice, but tomorrow you will become a different person. Knowing that, he can tell you that don't go here. Don't look in this direction, look in this other direction. So all of these things come to make a single point, which is you need to grow spiritually, have a deep connection with God, your spiritual source. Then you'll be able to tell or foretell when you are connecting with someone before you make that marital decision.
Yes. Remember, Michael, so after fasting, solitude, how will you know, or how will you hear the voice of God telling you what to do and what not to do when it comes to marriage and spirituality?
Like brother was saying, when it comes to a person you to marry as a child of God, you need to pick it very fast. If you see a woman or a man you want to marry and you meet the person, you are prayed, and this is the man to marry, you need to pick it.
How?
Now, there's something God has deposited within you. And as you keep praying fellowship with God, the Spirit of God will fill your heart. And whenever you meet your partner, you can pick it. Look at Adam. For the first time Adam saw Eve, what did he say?
Bone of my bone and flesh of
this
my
is the
flesh.
bone of the woman was within him. And Adam perceived that, yes, this is the one I was looking for.
Okay, so are you trying to say, you may meet someone, and then you have goosebumps,
Not that
chill. Is that what you're trying to say?
No. It's the spirit. It's like magnet. It connects.
I was saying good. Now I come being as an area just be what is that the feeling?
No, not that one.
Oh, okay.
Not that.
So
one.
You hear the Spirit of God telling you?
No, you may not hear any voice. You may not hear any voice, but it's the spirit that connecting both of you. God has created you somewhere. He has created the man somewhere, and now you are coming together. And when you meet the person, each of you, if you are in the spirit, you will pick the signal.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to tell you. So I was saying, love at first sight.
At times it may happen, but I don't go by that.
So tell me how you go. Tell me how you go by, because this one, I had to pick that signal.
The devil also can deceive you to pick a person, and you may feel that goosebump, and then your heart, boom, boom.
And so then you're one.
Oh,
okay.
And you're
one.
Yeah, you know.
So how will you know when dear michocho muncho?
Yeah, you know, before you make that steps, you yourself, you must pray it.
So how many times am I to pray? It goes to any of you. Should I take 3 days? Should I take 7 days? Is it necessary for me to fast for a very long time? Because I have spotted someone I have to pray about. This one, dear.
Even we will go there. I have a problem with many young ladies who are fasting because of marriage.
Oh, how?
I myself, I'm a fasting machine. I fast a lot, but at times I have a problem with Christian ladies, those who are fasting, waiting on God at the mountain, 21 days, 40 days, because of marriage. That's wrong.
Papa, it is society. When you grow to a certain point as a woman, society start talking. When you're now worried, but maybe the one you are with or you've been with didn't help you like the way you expect. Is that where spirituality comes in? Because this one, there's like you guys are talking to me indirectly, but me, I no shake.
Yeah. Men, we move by what we see.
Oh.
You are fasting, you are praying, but make sure you always look nice. Somebody may fasted and pray. Another maybe 40 days or 21 days. And somebody may spend 3 days fast and pray. And the person will meet the husband.
It's not necessary for you to wear this long dresses.
No, that one is not spirituality.
No, I
hate that thing.
That is hypocrisy, right?
Yes, I hate it.
Oh, okay. To me, I should make up whilst fasting.
Yes, you can.
Oh, God will not frown about that.
You can. Now, are you afraid that when you wear makeup and Jesus appear, you'll be left?
Yes. That's what most Christians are portraying.
That is not true.
If you add up a weave onto your hair, you wear makeup, you wear earrings, other jewelries and stuff, having their gate in window.
Something happened in the Bible, I believe Luke chapter 7. A woman with alabaster box. He came to Jesus. She came to Jesus. He poured the oil at the feet of Jesus. What did he use to wipe the
hair?
Did Jesus say she had done wrong?
No. No.
She used her hair, not her duku. And Jesus never condemned her. Okay. Now Christianity has become, people are condemning people. If you do this, you are going to hell. Shut up. Do you know hell? Do you know heaven? God created that lady. The lady is the daughter of God. The same lady brought alabaster, wipe it, pour it on the feet of Jesus, wipe it with the hair. Jesus said, you have done beautiful thing. You have done beautiful thing. And because of this, wherever this gospel is preached, it shall be said of her. We must stop condemning people. And we must know what is spirituality. Wearing long dress, putting something, is not the way.
Some even says you showing your elbow makes a man to lust over you. So like your sleeve have to be
that is not spirituality.
A bit below your elbow.
Even those from other religion who cover their face, they still have boyfriends.
Oh yes.
They cover their face.
You can only see the eyes.
They still have boyfriends.
Yes.
You know, when it comes to marriage, it's about trust. I trust my wife. She trusted in me. I'm not going to sin against God and against my wife. You know, that is the way forward. But the way Christianity has become nowadays, if care is not taken, religion will kill people in Christianity. Because the doctrine in my church said we shouldn't do this, we shouldn't. No, that is not what Bible is telling us. We are following Christ. It's about love. If I go wrong, I don't need you to tell me what I'm doing is wrong. I know. If you go wrong, you know you have done wrong. But wearing your dress, you're looking beautiful.
Thank you.
Your lipstick's beautiful.
Ah.
God has nothing against you, but somebody may stand somewhere, condemn you totally. And that is wrong. And that is what we must look into it and correct it.
Okay. So how do I connect to my spiritual self? How do I do that? So that, because I really have to hear the voice of God this month. Oh yes, 7th is a perfect number. So this month there has to be a perfect month for me. So please, but Hanson, tell me how to hear the voice of God. Then Father will also tell me how to go about it.
All right. Well, before I answer that, you gave a very exciting scenario. You meet someone and then you have all these goosebumps.
Yes, your heart is beating triple.
Like, yeah, this should be the one. There is something called the construct of men, or the stories of life.
Okay.
Let me take it back a bit. Dispensationally, there was a time, even there are certain people like that, also depending on where you were born, where you grew up,
okay,
who see slim women as absolutely gorgeous. In fact, if you are not slim, so if you grow up as a man in those situations, they would have imputed that aspiration in your heart.
Okay.
They define to you what beauty is. And so when you meet a slim lady that fits into that category, fantasy for you, you will be hooked. The same way someone who is in a place where they said, ladies that are plumpy are beautiful.
Real men chew meat.
Exactly.
Chew bones.
Real men chew meat and stuff like that. If you see a lady like that, the same way with the ladies, they say, oh, tall, dark, handsome. So that the stories create what is called a fantasy in our mind.
Okay.
That is one of the things that makes us shake. That's one of the things that attracts. So you meet the person, and then all of a sudden you have these fantasies like, if I get this person, then
I'm done. Without checking the character of the person.
Because you see, if the character is a concern or is a factor, you would look for it. So there are things like, when we talk about emotions, our emotions are triggered. That is why in certain levels of defining love, we take it away from emotions, because God is stable, and the scripture said God is love. So God cannot be up and down. Today he is excited, tomorrow he is not excited. It's like this. That's how your emotions are. Today you are excited, you are jumping all over the place, the next moment you are not. So one of the things that make people all those goosebumps and all those things is because they've seen something that incited a certain emotions in their heart. It may not necessarily be God speaking to you. That person may not necessarily be the one. Some people, they can follow. In fact, a man can be sure he loves a lady because of that attraction. They will go to bed and finish doing whatever they want to go and do. And then he now realizes that, what have I done? Maybe I don't want this after all. And he's there now planning how to run away from the relationship. The next moment, why did you close the fridge? I told you I don't like the way you close fridge. Let's break up. Because he's looking for, me, I called you and you hang up the call on me. Why did you hang? I am the one who called. I should hang up because I don't like ladies that do this. Because like, let's break up. Why? Because the relationship had broken up a long time ago. So you need to make that decision from a very responsible perspective, from a very strong point of view. So coming back to how do you hear God? The scripture said there is a spirit in man, and the inspiration of the Almighty giveth thee understanding. There is a certain knowing that you receive beyond empirical evidence. So there is a certain knowing you receive. It's the same knowing in your heart you receive when you look at something and feel you can do it. You may not necessarily have the expertise to, but the knowing in your heart that you can deliver can push you to go through that process until you build the expertise to deliver that thing. So there is a certain knowing that you receive. It's one of the ways you connect with your spiritual source, you connect with your spiritual essence. So you meet someone and you are having a conversation, and all of a sudden you know in your heart, it is not because of how beautiful the person looks, even though it is important. It is not because of how intelligent the person sounds, even though it is important. You just know that there is something about this person beyond beauty, beyond intelligence, that I want, that connects me to that person. That is, one of the things, that deep knowing. The second one is peace. See, Jesus was sleeping in the boat when there is storm, because there was one thing settled in his heart: this storm won't sink us. The disciples were running haywire. We need to do this, we need to do that. And finally they went to wake him up because they were afraid they could drown. In that marital decision process, you come to a place where you are completely settled in your heart that I'm making the right decision. The man may not have all the money, or may not even have the money. The woman may not be as beautiful as you want. You may not be at the levels you want to be in life, but you just know, you just have that peace in your heart that it is going to work. It is well, it is working. That peace is also a spiritual communication. There are certain people, the beauty is top notch, the person maybe is rich, whatever, is intelligent, but there is certain uncertainty in your heart. You're like, there's something about this guy. I don't. But sometimes we ignore that, go into the marriage and just say, I knew it. I knew it from day one that there's something about you that will be a problem. But you just can't put your finger on it. In those situations, you need to calm down. Okay. And then, of course, you need to learn to understand God in the way he communicates to you with the circumstances of life. So if you are, one of the things that I believe and advise is that before you meet a person, you should be well positioned. So for a lot of us, we meet a person, we are already attracted, our emotions are compromised before we are praying. In those situations, you can have a dream. You can have a nice dream about the person, hold the person's hand.
Because you've seen the sign chart at the back place.
Exactly. So now you are already, for want of better word, hypnotized. You are like,
spell.
So in those situations, everything you want to see, you
concur to it.
You confirm that, this is the person, this is the person. So why don't you rather settle? One, why don't you take time to understand and know your source, your God, and the direction you are headed in life? In making marital decision, one of the most critical things to know is where you are going. It's important because you don't marry to stand still. You marry to progress. People think that when you marry, then your life has stopped. But when you marry, you enter another phase of life, and the journey of life still continues. You two have become one in pursuit of life purpose and vision. There are a lot of people, they don't have that. So before you go on that journey to choose, you need to settle that in your heart. Where are you going in life? So that you know when you meet a person, it's not just about can this person carry and sustain what you are carrying? You are a lady, very ambitious, you are headed for the top. you are going to carry someone because society have given you pressure. And this guy said, you don't have to do anything anymore. Your ambition, throw it away and come and sit down. And sometimes, with all the voice of the submissive and everything, in fact, if you attempt to do that, you may end up breaking the marriage. So you need to settle that in your heart. Who are you? Your God, your connection with him, where you are headed to, your pursuit of life. I know people who came to us in HBH, we do a lot of self-discovery, self-awareness. So they are already in a relationship. They came, we take them through the sessions. Now he has discovered himself. He is now pursuing a certain agenda. Then the relationship begins to suffer. Because the person is like, now he's not interested in those things anymore. Now he's serious. He wants to build something. He wants to produce something out of his life. And she's not interested.
Okay.
So she's not passionate about it. Maybe when you came, you didn't know. Now you want to pursue God. Maybe you want to become a minister of God or something. And she feels that I'm not interested in these things. So when you do all of that, you know where you are going. You understand your vision. You know your purpose in life, and you are pursuing it. Then the communication of God to you become clearer.
Okay.
Because if God is talking to you about a kind of man you should choose or a kind of woman you should choose with regard to your purpose, which you don't know, how do you make that decision? You will not even understand what he is talking about because he's telling you, you don't know where you are going. So for you, I have a bit of money, I have a car, I have a house of my own. All I need is a woman. This woman is beautiful. So why not? Maybe she is also employed. Maybe she's a teacher, a nurse or something. She's also employed. So why not? We can marry. We'll be okay. Then God is telling you that even though today you operate this small business, tomorrow you're going to be maybe a real estate mogul. You are going to be maybe a counselor or something. You're going to have a lot of these kind of people around you. This woman, she has some sort of issue maybe with inferiority or whatever, or where she's coming from. She can't handle the
Such
capacity that you have. So no, you are like, no, because you can't see it. So you settle for less, and then at the end of the day you begin to suffer. So in hearing from God, I say that first you need to discover yourself, understand what is spirit communication. In spirit communication, there is intuitive hearing from God, a sense of knowing, peace in your heart, joy in your heart, a burden lifted off you in knowing that this is the direction that God wants me to do, to go. Not necessarily with regard to, some people when they meet an obstacle, they are like, if you propose to a lady and the lady is giving him tough time, you will conclude that is not God. It's not always the case that when you meet an obstacle, it's not God. Sometimes it's settled in your heart. There is peace in your heart. It's you God has spoken to concerning the matter. You are talking to her and she's saying no. But you know in your heart, this is it. So sometimes you need to push extra.
Persuade the person a bit further.
In order for you to get to that point. But when you do all of that, you need to track the joy, track the peace, track the knowing that you receive in your heart in your communication with God. Before you know it, you start having certain communications that begin to make sense. So you talk about where you are headed in life and the person connects. You talk about what you want to do with your life and the person connects. All of those things. It's different. These things.
So communication is key when it comes to that too, right?
Yes.
Because so once in a while you have to discuss it with your partner. Oh, that should be, I would like to do this.
Yes.
To listen to what she will say, even before you settle down with her, right?
Yes.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, and also the spirituality bit. You see, when you are dealing with human beings are complex. Psychologically,
We are difficult
a
too.
person can pretend for over 30 years.
I wonder.
So if, for instance, a man wants to marry you, you are already in that space, and we are having this conversation, the person can pretend to be interested. Oh yeah, me too, I want to do that. Oh, I also have that interest. Oh, we have a lot of things in common. Let's just go ahead and marry. And the lady has gotten to a place where the pressure is too much. So she just wants to marry. She come and say, well, me, if you are a lady, I want to marry you, have to be interested in what I'm interested in. I'm already interested. Oh, what are you interested? Just mention it, I mean. So that is where the spiritual bit comes in. So even though the person is looking the right way, saying all the right things, you can pick that this person is not genuine. But after you pick that, of course, you need to look at this other direction as well.
Oh, I like that. Rev, how do I connect to my spiritual self before marriage? How do I do that?
Yeah, as you were saying, you want to hear the voice of God by all means in this 7 months. I know you will hear.
Amen.
Yeah. God has a way to speak to his children.
Okay.
You know, one, he speaks to us through dreams. He speaks to us through our spiritual fathers, let me say pastors. Maybe you want to hear the voice of God. You may go to church, and the word that will come from the altar will be the very word God is telling you. So you can hear the voice of God through the voice of your pastor. You can hear the voice of God through dreams. You can hear the voice of God through reading the scriptures. You know, normally if you want to hear the voice of God, it's through his word. Those who read more of his word hear his word. You keep reading the word, you keep studying the word, you will hear the voice of God. And then you want to know which direction to take. That is where you need to seek the face of God. You pray, you fast, you keep on doing it. Lord, I want to hear your voice. I want to know your plan concerning this. You know, God said to Jeremiah, I know the plan that I think towards you, this and this and that. And God revealed the plans to Jeremiah. According to Jeremiah chapter 1, God said, before you were born, I knew you. Yeah. You know, if you want to hear the voice of God, definitely you will hear. You know, many a time we look as if we want to hear the voice of God, but we are not ready. You want to hear, but you are not ready. You are not ready. Now, if you want to hear the voice of God, just prepare. He will definitely show up. God is not far from us.
How do we prepare to hear the voice of God?
Prepare your heart. Let God knows your heart.
How?
Yeah. Let God knows your heart. You know, at times we are torn into two. Shall I go here or there? I don't think.
Well, sometimes no, things become so difficult for you that you may try to seek other spiritual means.
That is what God always warns us. It happens to King Saul. Saul supposed to waited for 7 days till the prophet Samuel comes, and he couldn't. He did wrong sacrifice, and that is where the kingdom was taken from him to David. So we need to wait. They that wait upon the Lord
shall renew
their strength. We don't have ability to wait. We are microwave generation. We want it partial.
Master, a child.
Yes, but if you don't know how to wait upon the Lord, forget about it. I said something years ago that if you can't wait for the process, forget about the product.
This is deep.
Every product there's a process. So if you can't wait for the process, forget about the product. There must be a waiting. You know, one of the difficult things in Christianity is the waiting, not the fasting, not the praying. But you have fasted, you have prayed. But after that, God said, wait. Moses waited before God 40 days. Jesus himself waited 40 days. Elijah waited for 40 days.
So must we also wait for 40 days?
Not 40 days.
But shall I do 40 years?
No. You think it's keeping long, but God knows. Because the Bible says he won't allow any temptation that is higher than us to come upon us. But we need to learn how to wait on God. We are always on rush. We are always on rush. You know, somebody was praying somewhere, a lady, at a certain forest. And another group was praying very close to her. And the lady put the seat there. Lord, sit down. Today I want to talk to you. God is not your mate. But the lady put the seat. Lord, last 3 years I came here. I asked you of marriage. You never gave me. Last 2 years I came. Last year I came. And this year I've come. If you are not ready to give to me, I will find my way. And that is the prayers a Christian was praying. You have already decided. God wants those who have decided whether he do it or not, they are for him. That is what God wants from us. But if you are praying and at the same time there's something in your mind, God knows our mind, what is within us than what we said.
Okay.
So when you are praying, just open your heart because he knows your heart. So when you are praying, let God knows your heart and tell him your problem. Let him know your weakness. Tell him. He will speak to you. He will let you know what to do. We don't need to hide anything from God because there's nothing we can hide from him. Let God knows your strength. But I want us to know that marriage is killing many. Those marriage is helping is very few. some young ladies and young men, they were living happy till they got married, and everything has shattered.
But Hansen, what is your belief or your faith in the afterlife? Do you believe in the afterlife? Since everything is guided by spirituality, do you believe in afterlife?
Yes, I do. And just a quick one to what Reverend was saying with regard to listening and waiting for God. We need to understand that God wants the best for us.
Okay.
Sometimes we think that we want the best for ourselves more than God wants for us. That is why sometimes we try to look for shorter routes, and it ends up killing us. So the fact that you want the best for yourself doesn't mean that God doesn't want the best for you. And where God sits, he sees more, understand more, know more. So sometimes when he's not speaking or when he asks you to wait, it's for your own good. It's just like we think when we watch a football match, when a player maybe miss a penalty or something, we think that we want the player to score more than the player wants to score. If that player score, we'll just be excited. That's all. That's the end of it. For him, that is a career booster. For him, he gets access to more things, maybe winning bonuses and things which we will never receive. So God wants the best for us. So if you say wait, like you say, if you're doing the right thing, it doesn't matter how long it takes. It looks like everybody have left you. They will go and realize that you are in the future. See, so it's important that we learn to do that. Now, do I believe in afterlife? Absolutely, because God is spirit. He created man. Man is spirit, soul, and body. After life, in the essence of after man shed off his body, after you lose your body, after your body returns to the dust, does your spirit also return to the dust? No. You are an eternal being. So from the day you were conceived and created, you have become an eternal being. Your death, when we talk about death spiritually, death physically, there are two different things. One word used to describe two different things. So there is a reality of an afterlife, meaning after physical death. After you lose your body, you enter into a different realm. There was a time someone called me and was at the point where she was thinking of committing suicide. I just want to end it all. And I'm like, when you end your life, do you know where you are going? You are entering into a realm irreversible. You see? But whatever situation, whatever problem you have today, you know. And you can face it head on and fight it. But where you are going, you don't necessarily know. And it is irreversible. You can't finish, committing suicide, you are dead. Then you enter and say, oh, I made a mistake.
So I'm coming back.
It's not possible. It's not something you joke with. So no matter the pain and the situation that you are going through, you need to face it head on and be resolute with your conviction that this thing, there's definitely going to be a way around it. And like I said, a problem is a problem to you because you don't know the solution. If you know the solution, it's no longer the problem. So when we talk about an afterlife situation, it is a reality because, like I said, your body goes through a set of transformation. Your essence remains the same. So when you finally lose your body, your spirit returns. Your immaterial self returns into that realm of immaterialism. In that place, other activities happen. Okay, Jesus gave us a glimpse of it. He said that, when they came to ask him about the issue of the woman that have married 7 brothers, after they die, who will be the husband of that woman? And he said that you err because you don't know the scriptures. Then he said, haven't you read that when we die, we will all be like the angels, and that they don't marry? So in essence, there is no marriage in heaven in the way we look at it. I'm very careful with that, and I hope that our viewers really understand what I mean, because when we are told scripturally that the marriage in heaven is between Christ the groom and his church, the bride. But marriage among humans, like the way we do it today, according to Christ, is not going to happen
in heaven.
In heaven.
Okay.
But the reality of us transitioning into that spiritual space where we connect, where we lose this body and connect more spiritually is real, and it is there.
Yeah.
So we lose our body and we live spiritually. On this note, I'll go for a quick commercial break. The program still continues afterwards. Please stay tuned.
Announcements on Adwa TV. Contact Adwa TV for your general announcements, proclamations and publications, job vacancies, etc. at a very affordable rate. Call 050-92-57754, 020-9494-258, or visit our marketing desk at Step Work premises. Adwa TV, bringing good things to life.
Babies are the joy of every home. We cherish them because they are a blessing, yet fragile. From the womb, where there are many mysteries, to the delivery room, where we'll help welcome your baby to the cradle. My Baby Nurse on Adwa TV is here to help you know the early signs and symptoms your baby gives when it comes to their health. I will be talking to midwives, pediatricians, child psychologists, speech therapists, and teachers to help you know the signs your baby gives to you. My Baby Nurse, your baby's health, my concern. My name is Naa Oforiwaa Pels.
Tell me what you know. Penifo kasa bi se atiye ohoi emma refre wo bia bratete ni mo rema hwene ba enne wo boni beye so fo bia kwaji ndura hye sori bia se ama enne asori ba ne na ebro enjodifo esu enyumayefo esu so man no akodi baby na wo so hu ni sai obia yare da yare sabia enfie bebre ni wonya yare hwe wanyina na mama bisa wo se wasetena mu etese wasitine mu to say eye dwumadi etena se edwada ene efiada anopa no do ene fam kopim du ba kon ene fam dwumadi eso ne etena se ene asofo di nkomo mo mutu yefo dwumadi ya ye ne akandifo so tena se mo mutu ya brabo mo afutuo ye ne ankrankre mo be kon mawra ho sem mo gina so enya so emboa ene utisha no so na hia me adwa broni kaisa won so emre bebem ama won so wafrem wo de wadwe nkire nyina abedom ye wasitine mu to say dwumadi enwuma ko a aso asene eye midima for herbal clinic thanks to you computer clinic and Amina Vocational Institute kame ho yentina se yendi aburabo mu nkomo.
Everything you know, talk about the world, talk about the globe, talk about the things and everything.
Come back. The program still continues, and the name of the program is Family Life. The topic for discussion for today is spirituality and marriage, or marriage and spirituality. Whichever ways there is marriage and there is spirituality. And I'm doing this discussion with Brother Hansen Beduro, yes, and then Reverend Michael Darko. And before we went on the break, we were talking about marriage after life, like if you believe in spirituality and then afterlife. Yes, Reverend, it is most married couples think that after death they'll still continue their married life in the spiritual realm. Is it true? Is there something like that exists?
Not at all. It doesn't exist.
Oh, sir.
After this life, there's no marriage. We are not going to marry in heaven. We are not going to marry after death. No. We get married here and we leave this earth. That's all. So, that's why I advise people, marriage is good, but don't allow marriage to kill you. Marriage is to enjoy, not to endure.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to enjoy marriage, and it's for once on this earth. There's no marriage in heaven. My brother said, quoted from Jesus, there were one lady married 7 brothers, and all the brothers died, and Jesus was telling them, after death, we are going to be like angels. Nobody will get married. So if somebody has a plan that the way I love my wife, even when we die, we are going to continue, it's false. It's not true. It's not true. Marriage is on this earth. You can't marry in heaven. You can't marry in other place. There is something based upon this topic. I will just say something about it. Spiritual marriage. There's something
called spiritual
marriage. As a man of God, I've been dealing with that a lot. People come to church.
We'll come there. It's part of the topics, but let's say I'm married. I love my husband so much, or we love each other so much, and we would like that after death
you are going to continue.
We will continue it and then reincarnate and remarry ourselves again. Nothing of that sort is it.
Just settle it here.
Papa, are you sure?
No. Settle it here.
All the
love you have for him, just love him
on earth.
Yes, after this life, no. Bible says it is appointed unto man to die once, and after that, judgment, not marriage.
Papa, they be tea. Once sometimes you go for a funeral, and maybe it is the man that is dead. You will hear that so or the or from Honda. Your in-law saying, "Oh, Kwankwado, me bo," like the wife will also say, Yes.
It's never true.
She knew her, sir.
It's never true.
Oh,
it's never true.
Papa, my viewers would like to know, because some of them would like to marry their husbands in the afterlife.
What Bible said, after death, judgment.
Oh, Papa.
So, so what
this one, they can't cry.
God is not going to change it. He has prepared it, that we should come on this earth, get married, be fruitful. When we live, the reason we are getting married is that God wants us to raise a holy family.
Okay.
A holy generation. So when we depart, they will continue. So when you die, you have finished your part. When it comes to marry, whatever, you are done.
Oh, but Hansen, want to say, you speak Chi, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. So haven't you heard someone saying that my wife was my wife in my first life, like he has reincarnated, or they've both reincarnated? Haven't you heard that news before?
Yes, I have.
So it is there.
No, you see.
Oh, why no?
Wait. So, belief, spirituality, allegiance, understanding, knowing, these are key things that regulate life here and in the things people say. So what I'm trying to say is that there are people, when you look at, say, certain belief system, they believe in, say, those kind of things. A certain belief system will believe that if you marry and you die, you still go and continue, the marriage. A certain belief system may believe that. A certain belief system may believe otherwise. But we as Christians also have a belief system that is instituted by God and the Christ and passed on to us over the years. So by that belief system, we don't see marriage happening in heaven. Like for instance, Angel Michael, who is his wife? Or who is the husband? You see, so even if you look at the purity of a spirit entity, you can't even define its gender. Because some people will tell you that maybe Angel Gabriel is a female. And we say, no, it's a warrior angel, it's a male. But is he male or female? Is the male and female concept an understanding spiritually or an understanding in this physical world? So when we talk about marriage, a lot of things come to play. It is not just about we are married in the way we understand it here. It is the same across board. So when we talk about marriage, the things that make marriage happen here are the same conditions constant after life. So if those same conditions are not constant after life, why do you think that you are going to continue, your marriage there? Like the example I give, assuming that you lose your husband, God forbid, and then after a while you are supposed to remarry again, and then you got someone and you remarry the person. Now you've told your husband you're going to continue. So now that the three of you have gone to meet, who are you going to?
Oh, love goes where love is. Let
So
the
now,
dead.
when you
The
get there-
dead should concentrate on his judgment, whilst I also enjoy on it
So-
for now. But when I come, we'll continue.
No, so I mean, when the three of you, so now you two, you are gone. He's also gone. Your new husband too is gone. So now all the three of you have
It's his
showed up.
first confessor.
You see, so you see the confusion. So the point clearly is that there is an eternal dimension of life after a man loses his body. But there's conditions necessary for marriage there? If you look at the scriptural position, you don't really see gender ascribed to spirit being, even though there were names for them. We can guess by name that because they call him Michael or they call him Gabriel, is a male. But is it really the case? Do you understand? So if we can't even be sure of gender, how, in terms of male, female, how do we even, So when you go spiritually, it's like I said, it's an essential dimension of life. So when you get into those realms, different rules apply. So like Pastor said, concentrate on it here. Love your husband, love your wife as much as you can. And we would usually say, until death do you part. So when a partner, pass on, they perform certain rites, even traditionally, to disconnect the living from the dead. That's where it ends.
That's where it ends. What of reincarnation? Do you believe in reincarnation? Do you believe that one day when you die, you come back?
Well,
I push you for the corner.
yes. So
You have to be there.
I'm very. I want to be very careful in answering that question because of the different understanding ascribed to it. For example, if you look into the scripture, the Bible says after the people came from the wilderness, Jesus asked them, "What did you go and see?" And then he said, if you can take it, he's the Elias or he's the Elijah. He's talking about John the Baptist. So it is believed that John the Baptist
Was a reincarnated of Elijah.
So what then does that mean? Does that mean that John the Baptist is Elijah, or does that mean that the spirit of John the Baptist
Was that of Elijah?
or that of Elijah?
Did John the Baptist behave like Elijah?
To some extent, yes. They share certain similarities. And then, of course, certain spiritual meanings also ascribed to the fact that the wife of Herodes has the same spirit of Jezebel, because it was Jezebel that wrote a letter to Elijah and told him that I'm going to cut off your head. And then, all the things that happened and Elijah was taken away. And so when John the Baptist was arrested and the wife of the daughter of Herodes danced before the father, and the father asked him, "Ask anything and I'll give it, even to a third of my kingdom." The mother convinced the
To ask for the head of
daughter
the
to
Baptist.
ask for the head. So what are you going to do with the head of this man? And so other people also believe that because there's an old story long before these people came on the scene. So the concept of reincarnation, I would like to look at it from the perspective of the essential. You see, before you were created, God is a purposeful being. So God doesn't create anything. Then you came, now he's not thinking, okay.
So what's the purpose of this person
so what
on
do we
earth?
do? The purpose predetermined the creation. In fact, the purpose is what necessitates the creation. There's something God wants done on this earth, and he formed a being that should come and do it. And so he brought you. The purpose remains. Now we can all, it's common knowledge that not everybody fulfills that purpose for which they are created. Then it means if I am the creator and I create something to come and perform a particular responsibility, and the thing came and didn't perform it, the work is still there. I can still create another to perform that. They would definitely, obviously, would share certain similarities because I formed them. I nicked their inward part in order for them to be able to perform that responsibility. But this one didn't, the other one should. So we can look by similarity and say that this is the same person that did A, B, and C. So in that manner, in looking at it from that perspective, people can say, and if you look at it on the face of it, you can say that, well, this is a reincarnation. But I look at it.
Okay, so you believe in reincarnation, or it's a consequence?
So I look at it from the perspective of the spiritual essence of that being, that is back, not the person. Do you understand? Do you understand? Is it clear?
The spiritual being is back, but not the person.
The spiritual essence. So a being is created, he comes, another being is created, shares close similarities with the other being. So
you need more explanation to do on this because you are confusing me. Papa, do you believe in reincarnation?
Not at all.
Hey.
Straightforward, based upon the Bible. No, there's no second chance when you died. There's no way you can die and come back and, correct your mistakes. No way.
Are you talking because you're a Christian? But in other religions, they believe in reincarnation.
That is what they believe, but it's not true. Then everybody should have messed up and then come back and made a correction.
No, sometimes there are some things that happens and you remember you've seen it before, it has happened before, sort of.
Yes.
Is it a permanation or you've been a reincarnated being before?
God has shown you in a dream, you have forgotten, maybe 20 years. You saw something in a dream 20 years, you have forgotten. And one of these days, you will meet something and you recall, I've seen this before. Yeah. 20 years ago, something happened to you.
So that doesn't make you a spiritual, a reincarnated being?
No, not at all. Now, God cannot contradict himself. He said, it is appointed unto man to die once, Hebrews 9:27. And after that, to face judgment. Now, as my brother was saying, concerning Elijah and John the Baptist, Jesus said, Elijah must come. It was the spirit upon Elijah
that came upon John the Baptist.
Not the human aspect. It is the spirit. Now, it's like the kings, Pharaoh, Herod. We have different Herod, we have different Pharaohs. But the moment you sit on that seat, the spirit
on that seat
will enter you.
It possesses you. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you behave like the one who was sitting on that throne. So I preach to people that every Herod is a murderer. The moment you sat on that seat, you become a murderer. You will kill.
So just like, let's bring it to our earthly way. One say mostly when they are naming a chief, when someone is being enthroned, they make you touch a black stool, and then with you being blindfolded ahead, and then the stool, whoever sat on that stool will be named after you. Does it mean you also behave like the person?
And later you find out that the spirit that was in that first king begin to manifest in you. Exactly. So if care is not taken, they will say he has come back.
Oh, is that the reason why they call Asante Hina Baby?
Yes. He has come back. But when it comes to judgment, on the judgment day, that first king will be here.
Yeah.
And you two will be there and they'll be judging you differently.
So if it's a reincarnation, why should you be here and at the same time be here? No. No. Life, we live life for once. So the spirit of Elijah came upon John the Baptist. Elijah was from Tishbite. And John the Baptist is from Levi. From the tribe of Levi. So different background. So when it comes to judgment, Elijah will stand here. Elijah will stand here. John the Baptist will stand here.
Oh, then we have to be careful in naming our children after people.
Now, name
Is it?
Yeah, we must be very careful.
She looks so much like my great grandmother, so I have to name her
There's
after my great mother.
in the name. There's a spirit in the name. Even as you are sitting, as I'm sitting on my brothers, the name we are carrying, the name we are carrying, have a certain percentage on our life. The name you carry, either good or bad, it will work. Every person, the name you carry, there is certain impact that will come upon you. So the moment you are having some names, please, you need to search and know the meaning of that name.
Oh, okay. So we shouldn't just. Some
names are sweet, but they are deadly.
Yeah. Let me give you a quick
scenario.
Yeah. Oh, please come.
So when God created everything, Bible says he brought the animals to Adam and see what he will call them. And the scripture said the name he called them was their name thereof. What usually how we read it is the name he called them became their name. No. The name he called them was their name thereof. It means the name he called them was their original name. Now the question then is, what name did Adam give the lion, for instance? If Adam called the lion lion, then what about Jata?
Sebo.
You get it? So the Chinese, how do they call lion? Okay, what language did Adam speak? So then it now leads us to a place where we want to ask the critical question. What exactly did Adam do that they call it naming? What he did was determining the character and the behavior and the character of those creatures. So the name carries the character. So when that name is put on you, you carry that character of the name. The name is a spiritual virtue. It's a reality. So you become an embodiment of that name. That's why in ancient time, when they buy slaves, they change their names. Yes.
Yeah, so.
If once you become a slave, they change your name.
Oh, okay.
So then and because there's also another principle that states that the one who names controls, the one who names owns. So the one who names you owns you. So when they buy you, they change your name. They don't call your original name. So the name is critical. To say that you look like my great grandmother, so you name him or her after your great grandfather or great grandmother, it definitely will have a certain replication. Yeah.
Oh, okay. We're still talking about spirituality and marriage. So before you name your child, you have to seek the face of God.
You must be very careful. Now, aside from Abraham, he was called Abram. And God changed it to Abraham. Abraham means exalted father, single father. That's so let's say you'll be single. So the man was single. So his name was changed to Abraham, father of many nations. Then he began to produce.
Oh, so you can still name your child Abram.
Abram. Even Abram, there was a mistake, so God changed it to Abraham.
Okay.
Before he started producing.
Okay.
And Isaac means laughter because of the mom laugh.
When the prophecy came.
Look at Jacob, Sopranta, a deceiver.
A deceiver.
That's Jacob's original name.
Yeah, that's the meaning of Jacob.
The meaning of Jacob, deceiver.
Jacob means supplanter.
And look at how the thing he did.
He deceived the brother.
Yeah.
Twice. And took his blessing away from him twice. Is it twice?
Yeah. He deceived them.
Oh, wow.
You look at Moses, the one who was driven out of water. And all the problem Moses had in life was water. And because of water, he couldn't get to the promised land. They crossed the Red Sea. The water needed to depart. He was put in a river Nile. When they got to the place, there was no water for them to drink.
He struck the hill.
And when he struck the hill, it happened twice. Yeah. But the next one, God said, speak. The same water. Moses said, I'm angry. He speak harshly to them. And God said, you have disobeyed me because of this water issue. You are not going. You will die here. And Joshua took over. Joshua simply means like Jesus, Savior. He took them to the promised land. And look at Jesus. Jesus means Savior. He saved us from our sins. Jesus changed the name Peter from Simon to Peter. Simon means unstable. And Peter was not stable. When he was Simon, he wasn't stable.
So our name has an impact on us, truly.
He wasn't stable. Okay. So Jesus made him rock, Peter. And before he became stable.
Parents out there, please, before you name your beautiful babies, please seek the face of God with the name. It may be nice, it may sound pleasing to the ears, but first thing first, before things start doing things, before other things get into the things, and then things start doing things, okay? Yeah. If you just join us, the program is still Family Life right here on Adwa TV. It's kind courtesy of the Men Fellowship of the Anglican Church. If you want your husband to be part, please go to the nearest Anglican church, register, and be part of them so that you will enjoy your godly marriage and your godly parenting. And then the title is Marriage and Spirituality. I have Brother Hansen here, and then I have Reverend Michael. My name is yours truly, Naa Oforiwaa Pels, Noko Black Beauty, Noko Dark and Lovely. The program still continues. Brother Hansen, how do we practice spirituality in marriage? So, you being a Christian, how do we practice it together? Because the two has become one. How do we practice it? And then, if need be, will you marry outside Christianity?
Okay. All right. How do we... Okay, so I'll take the second one, then because, of course, you marry before you practice in the marriage. So my preference, no, because like I said, there is core belief that dictates the mindset of people, the perspective of people, the decisions of people, and the actions of people. So if the person is in a different religion, believe in different set of things, and have been trained that way, and is unwilling to change, if you marry such a person, you are going to have a lot of issues after the whole emotional excitement settles. So for me, I wouldn't advise that. In fact, the scripture says, do not be unequally yoked. So I won't now sit here and advocate for people to be unequally yoked. Usually we want to water it down to say, oh, it's love that matters, it's all of these things. But when you face life in its harsh sense, in its harsh realities, you would begin to understand. Maybe some of us, when we were growing, maybe you didn't used to like your father, but when you grow now, you now begin to respect him. So some people say adulthood na scam, because you couldn't wait to grow up. Now that you have grown up, you are beginning to understand why your mother used to do certain things. Someone called me the last time and said, I asked my mom, how did you do it? Like one son, and it's giving me this hell of a problem. How did you manage all of us? So the core belief of people would definitely play out when you are married. So for me, I wouldn't consider that. But then, how do you practice spirituality in marriage? If I marry, before you get married, is where a lot of communication needs to be done, a lot of agreement needs to be done. The reason is because agreements is more objective if there are no emotional interests involved. So if we are talking, for instance, about certain things that we will do or not do when we marry, before we got married, it will be relaxed. But if there is an issue, for instance, how do we treat our parents? How do we treat your mom, and how do you treat my mom or my dad, and all of that? If we've not had that conversation, and now your mom shows up and she's in our house for 1 year and she's refusing to go, and now we have to now have that conversation, it gets more difficult because it's your mom and you have some sort of connection to it. So for me, I think that people should have conversation about what they want with regard to their spirituality. Now note this, spirituality can also be seen as a virtue. For instance, love is a spiritual virtue. care is a spiritual virtue. So when you grow into it, it begins to naturally manifest. And then also spirituality has pathways, and that is what religion has made some sort of rituals out of it, and people do it without understanding the essence. So we talk about fasting, we talk about reading the word, we talk about these Christian disciplines that we need to inculcate in our life. We need to understand that it is not just about the inculcation of these practices. It is also about the resultant effect of these things. So one lady said, I began to fear the man I called my dad, because there was a time I was preparing to go to school, and my mother, fell, and all of a sudden my mother was like, stroke and all of this. This my dad just picked my mother, locked her in a room, and prayed for as long as she can imagine, and then the next moment that the mom came out very fine. So when life happens, when the issues of life strike, what is your holding capacity to respond appropriately? Someone looks at you and says, I give you 1 week, you will be dead. How do you respond in those situations? So you are not just reading the word of God to tick a box. You are not just fasting to tick a box. You are not just praying to tick a box. You are doing this intentionally, building capacity to be able to handle the issues of life. Knowing this will make, Bible says that for the purpose of for the vision of that was set ahead of him, he endured the cross. Usually, because we can't tell or we can't see the resultant effect of some of these practices, we don't even understand their meaning and why we should do them. We find it difficult to do them, and we conclude that, oh, God will understand. Or you didn't pray, God will understand. But if you understand the reason why you should pray and the impact it has on you in dealing with life, then you should. When you are coming together, a male, female, you're married, maybe one is more spiritually inclined. Maybe you grew up in a house where prayer was the norm, fasting was the norm, and the man or the woman maybe grew up in a house where once in a while we fast, once in a while we pray, or maybe it doesn't even happen at all. We need to talk about it. You need to bring your partner with love, with understanding to the place where they understand the essence of what you do. You see, when they make you do these things without understanding them, you may not be able to bring anybody along. So if you truly understand what you are doing, you can then bring your partner, explain to your partner, you see this situation, this is how, when we grow to this level, this is how we can deal with it. Life as we see it is not like that. Like I said, things happen spiritually and manifest physically. So if you know that we have to be in the engine room where things are happening to be able to orchestrate the realities that happen in our life, so that we don't just become victims of life, we become the orchestrator. Things don't just happen, things are made to happen. So if you and your partner have some of this heart-to-heart conversation where the two of you come to a certain consensus, then we will begin to build. So now we begin to make certain compromises. We begin to push ourselves, because fasting is not necessarily fun. You are hungry, you can't be excited because you are hungry. But if you know why you were doing it, you will do it with understanding. Sometimes you wish you will not pray, because prayer sometimes, especially at the mechanical level, is not fun. So why should I pray for 2 hours? Why should I pray for an hour? I say, God, thank you. I mean, God knows what is in my heart, so why should I bother myself and all of these things? But if you understand why you're doing it, the two of you can come together and set time and make compromises and go through the process, so that you become that person that is able to handle the things that life throws at you, that you are strong, you have stature, you are established, and you can move through life in a very relaxed manner. Like I said, Jesus was sleeping in the boat because this thing won't sink me, because I have the capacity to deal with it.
Okay.
Do you have the capacity to deal with it? We don't have, so we have to develop that capacity. So that is the same advice I give people. I can't be in church with you for how many years, and I don't understand anything spiritually. No, it should not be.
Okay.
So in that growth, we should be concerned about who we are becoming spiritually, how we are aligning spiritually, how we can make things happen spiritually. See, there are some people, they don't care about your big car because in his mind he can just somersault that car. He weigh you spiritually, so you are happy. Oh, I just bought a V8. He's just laughing. So you have a car, but you are free to send a car to your village because of your. But if you know your capacity, you can go anywhere and you will survive. So because of that, let's make the sacrifices today. Let's grow today. Let's perform those practices by revelation, by understanding, in pursuit to become a person of high spiritual stature, so that we can administer certain things. Like, for instance, parenting, like finances, all these things are major causes of issues in marriage, because maybe sometimes someone somewhere has orchestrated something and the thing is just working, and you are there, you are spiritually weak, so you can't even deal with it. So when we know these things, then we have to be intentional about it, because someone can just collapse your marriage. Someone can just cook something or serve a water to your husband or your wife somewhere, and the marriage is done.
Before we continue, my last question before we go to the story: Do the pastors have a say in our marriages? Before I go to this, do they have an impact on our marriages, Reverend? Do you have an impact on individual marriages?
Yes, pastors must have impact. They must direct. Even before this marriage happened, there must be counseling and here and there. So automatically they will have, say in our marriage, and they need to guide us. Pastor, we guide. Actually, there's no school of marriage. But we guide people. If you do this, it will help you. If you practice this, as a family or as a married couple, we need to have a family altar. There must be a family altar. We must pray together. Some couples find it difficult to hold their wife's hand to pray. No. You must hold hands together. That's agreement prayer. Hold hands together and pray. Intercede for your marriage. Intercede for your children. Every morning before my kids go to school, I have to anoint them, lay hands. Every day I do. There must be a family altar. There must be a family altar.
So this story is by kind courtesy of Love and Pels on Facebook. And she says, my case is urgent. I am 26-year-old lady, married to a police officer with one beautiful daughter. My husband is a serious Christian, and so I am. This means that we take our church program seriously, so we rarely miss church services unless we are engaged with our work. Recently, my husband was deployed to work at the border in Western Province for 1 month, and our church prophet took the advantage of his absence to sleep with me 5 times. The issue at hand is I am now pregnant for the prophet, but my husband thinks it's him who did the work, so he is very happy, but has already started preparing for the arrival of the new baby in November this year. There has never been a time he touches me when I have taken my bath. I haven't shaved since we got married. My place is in the jungle now. Okay, so this is it. She mistakenly, should I say deliberately or mistakenly, or she was influenced by the man of God to have sex with her when the husband was not around. We have people that listen to what their pastors will tell them all the time. Yes. So, Papa, what advice will you give to this young lady?
The lady has made a mistake. For a prophet or a pastor to sleep with you 5 times, is deliberate. 5 times.
It may depend on what the man of God said.
No, are you stupid? You are a married woman.
Excuse you?
If I will first slap her. She needed to be slapped before canceling her. Why should you do that?
If it was to be once, there would have been a mistake.
Now the foundation is broken.
Okay.
And Psalm 11:3, if the foundation being destroyed, what can the righteous do? You allow, even though the prophet, he was a married man, sleep with you 5 times. 5 times. And you are now pregnant. You know, the truth must be told. Now, I would advise her, you should wait when she delivered. She talk to the elders. The husband must know. The husband must know. Maybe the husband
would have been the one responsible. Maybe when he was going, he did it.
The prophet is the responsible of the pregnancy.
And now she said, my conscience is eating me up because I know for a fact that the child I am carrying is not for my husband, but for the prophet. I don't know how to overcome this issue because the prophet is also married and his wife is more than a mother to me. The prophet also knows he is the one who made me pregnant and he has been pursuing me to abort the pregnancy because the child might resemble him and it could affect his marriage and that of the church. Please help me because if I tell my husband, judging by his full love and trust for me, he's not going to beat me or kill me, but he might go crazy and probably do something worse.
The lady had done foolish things, as I said. And then now the foundation of that marriage has been broken.
But Papa, you know there are some pastors who have a way of influencing you into doing their bid.
Up to 5 times.
He or she may say, if you don't sleep with me, your husband is going to die. He's not going to come. Knowing the kind of job that your husband do.
As a child of God, you must know the scripture. You must know it by yourself. You know, we don't need to follow pastors blindly. People said, as for this church, that is where I was born, so that's where I will die. Open your eyes. I told my congregation, a day you see me deviating, find yourself another church. The pastor is telling you, I want to sleep with you. That pastor has become devil.
Some will even tell you, I have to deliver you from some spiritual bondages, familiar curses, ancestral what, and then they will sleep with you in the name of deliverance.
You went to Sunday school.
Yes.
You went to Sunday school, so you know basic things when it comes to Bible. And the pastor said, I have to sleep with you, and based upon deliverance, this and that. No. He wants to destroy your future. Even if you are not married, and a man of God is telling you, know that that man of God is a demon. It's a demon.
He's not from God.
Whether it's from God or not, that time there's a demon working.
Branson, why are you laughing?
There's a demon working.
Are you concurring to it?
It's a disgrace to Christianity. This one. And it's a disgrace to pastors. Now, when you get to a place and you are telling people you are a pastor, at times you feel ashamed because of what others are doing. Why should a whole prophet, you have a wife, have a kids, and sleeping with a member in your church who has a husband?
You need to
taking advantage.
Yes.
Now, it means this man has been doing to the women in the church.
In the church, and none of them is talking about it.
This matter must come out. This matter must come out.
She's even lucky she didn't mention the church.
Yeah.
And the location.
The matter must come out.
It has to.
Yeah, so that people will be aware. And those who must find themselves to another church must do it as soon as possible. Otherwise, it will come to them.
What advice will you give to our sister, Brian Hansen?
Well, like Reverend rightly said, 5 times.
It's a deliberate act.
It's deliberate. Now, I'm going to say something that maybe some people won't find it very exciting, but I think that sometimes women like to play the victim. You just have to be responsible. You see, you can't control how someone lives his life, but you can control yours. So control yours as much as possible.
How?
Don't have principle, have standard for your life. For instance, me, I go to see maybe a man of God, and a man of God says, well, you have to start drinking, you have to start smoking, because, you know, if you do these things, your
things will go on well for you.
I won't do it. You need to have standard. So I read the story carefully, and there was a part in the story where she says that she has never enjoyed sex ever since she was married. So if that line is actually true, then she was predisposed to do this thing.
to explore from somewhere else to know if it is from her or it's from the husband.
So
and then the pastor did it so well that she went in for more.
So
why is she a liver twist?
So she has gotten to a place where sometimes when you are in that place where you are, so clearly this lady is not true to herself, because when you are in a place where you are having intimacy and you are not enjoying it, you should have conversation about it. I don't know the setting, because the way the story is structured, usually I'm very careful in responding because there's so many unanswered questions with regard to it. But the way it is structured, it looks like she doesn't have a say in
her marriage.
So whatever the man wants is what goes, and she's just there. But they should have that conversation. Now, if she says that she doesn't enjoy sex and she's in a position where she can have sex with another man
and enjoy it to the fullness,
and it to be a secret, she would fall for it.
Okay,
and so she actually did fall for it. So she will call it the man taking advantage of her, but she actually agreed it was a consensual sex. Because when she said the man took, there are people like that. When she said the man took advantage of her, she didn't mention rape. So it doesn't look like the man raped her. So where did it happen the first time? So if it happened in the man's house, why did you go again? If it happens in your house, why did you allow him in?
How did the man of God know she's not enjoying her sex life with her husband? Could it be she went to tell the man of God how poor the husband performs in bed, and then the man of God, knowing how well he is also good in bed with, try to take the advantage of the husband's absence to explore it, so that wow.
Sometimes there are people, like Reverend rightly said, maybe the man of God may be doing that. So when they are in a certain situation, when you put yourself in a certain situation, under a certain atmosphere, certain feelings are triggered. Okay, so maybe the man of God has also found himself in that place where, whether or not he told a man may not be inconsequential, because there are some people who it happens to, and it is not necessarily that their husbands are not performing well. It is just that they don't have that level of self-control to say no. This is where you because sometimes people cannot say no. They are afraid to offend people, and then they go all the way, and they go all the way doing what they don't want to do, but they are doing just to please another person.
Oh, so we have to stand on our grounds. We have to learn how to be bold enough to say no in terms of this.
Because at the end of the day, it is your decision and your actions that determine the outcome of your life. You need to know this and know peace. At the end of the day, the decisions you make in life, the actions you actually take in life determine the outcome of your life. So because of that, you must know that every decision you take, you can blame whoever you want to blame tomorrow. It won't change anything.
So in essence, she should have spoken to the husband about the way he makes love to her.
Yes.
Maybe he's that type.
So they should talk about it. Because you see, she ended by saying the way the man loved me and the way he trusts me, I'm not sure he may do anything to harm me, but he may maybe harm himself or something. So it means that from what she has said, she is convinced that the man loves her. If the man loves her, the man should be able to listen to what kind of love does the person have for you that he doesn't listen to you, he doesn't care about. I tell you for free, for a man, if you are able to have intimacy with your wife and she enjoys it, you have a certain kind of fulfillment from what you. So I'm not sure any man that truly loves his wife is excited that he's making out with the wife, and the wife doesn't enjoy it. The wife says he doesn't care, unless maybe the man truly really doesn't care about her. But if the man, like she rightly said, really loves her and care for her, then they should have that conversation and know what to do to make it better. Maybe sometimes you need to learn. Maybe you need to take some research. You need to understand each other, and you need to explore to find out ways and means that you guys can do it and have that fulfillment with regard to it. And then also there's another missing thing with regards to the pregnancy. At what point was she pregnant, and at what point did she find out that she was pregnant? And
they've had it 5 times in a month though.
And at what point did the husband know? So you see, the husband had traveled. They deploy your husband to a western province somewhere. You are alone, and then you've been having sex with this person for, according to you, 5 times. So when did you realize you were pregnant, and when did you tell your husband? Or your husband spiritually found out that you were pregnant?
She's yet to tell the husband about it.
No, she said the husband thinks that the pregnancy is for him.
Yes.
He's excited about it.
Yes.
The husband knows that
She's pregnant. Yes.
So now that the man already knows you are pregnant, what can you do about it?
Okay, so what is your advice for her? Should she abort the baby or give it to the husband? We have just 3 minutes.
Well, she should give birth and open up to the husband and let the husband know, because definitely he's going to find out.
What if the baby resembles the man of God?
No, you should tell the husband that, something like this happened. Confine, maybe call some elders and have that conversation. And whatever consequences come, you should be ready to bear it.
Yeah, that's all. After giving birth, the elders must step in and they must discuss it. The husband must know. They must expose that man of God to stop that thing. Yeah.
Maybe he has done it to many people.
Yeah.
Okay.
His cup is full.
So she shouldn't abort it?
No, not at all.
Okay, so on that note, we say thank you for making a date with us right here on Adwa TV. The program is Family Life. The topic was marriage and spirituality. Please, my people say you shouldn't abort the baby. Have it. Talk to your elders. And maybe your husband may forgive you. And when the child is of age, give it back to the father and live your marriage life. And never repeat it again. Never, ever repeat it again. I would like to say thank you to Brother Hansen,
Thank you.
Founder and CEO of HBH Consult. Yes, it was a delight having you here.
Thank you.
Reverend Michael Dako, thank you for coming. I am most grateful. My name is Naa Oforiwaa Pels, Noko Black Beauty, Noko Dark and Lovely. I will acknowledge my sponsors, and that's by kind courtesy of the main fellowship of the Anglican Church. For a good husband search, please look no further. That's the best way for you to go. And if you want your son to be a good husband and a father, please register with the Anglican Men Fellowship at the nearest Anglican church. And then I would like to say a very big thank you to Love and Pills on Facebook for the stories they give us weekly. My fabric is by kind courtesy of Trending Fabrics, located at Carnation behind the overhead, opposite the Takrade station, and same building with Carnation Guest House. And it was beautifully designed by Nopa Vibes. I have some birthday wishes here to do. And the first one is Alexander Chima Cypre, my brother from another mother. Yes, thank you very much, Papa. Enjoy your birthday. Namo Chikugozie. Oh, I'll see you when I come home, so you know what we do. And the second one goes to Prophet Listowell Kobi Agbake. He is the prophet of Divine Healing Church in Somanya. Papa, maone gbamoka ne hanochi no munyuchwe peno bile ne kukuomio ne bami onu. Another third one goes to Mary Nanesi Texan. This is from Sasu, my sound man. He said, enjoy your blissful day and may God grant you all your heart's desires. And on that birthday note, I say bye-bye and thank you for making a date with me. Enjoy the rest of our program right here on Adwa TV. And see you next week. Same time, same place. Bye-bye.